Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Savani Sports and Entertainment Podcast. This is your host, Avin Savani. Today's episode is going to be dedicated primarily to the Phillies. So we're going to be covering the start of the season, ups and downs, areas of improvement, just overall how the roster is kind of like filling out right now. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty fun conversation. I know it's 1 month into the season, so I could do this like kind of weekly, or I might do it like monthly. I'm not too sure yet, but I just figured like just let the season kind of like marinate a little bit, and we'll probably get one video in to recap. So yeah, starting out the season, I'm just gonna like start sharing my screen so you guys know my thought process here. Um, but yeah, so it was kind of it was a really rough start to the season, honestly, but we've kind of picked back up. We're 13-13 as of today. We just picked up a 1-0 victory against the Mariners, so pretty exciting stuff there, but definitely some areas of improvement, especially for pitching, that we'll cover today. So yeah, I mean, the new guys look really good. Strom had a fantastic outing today. He pitched scoreless innings, only allowed 3 hits, so that was fantastic. And the other guy, Taiwan Walker, he's been really good. Obviously, he's had a little bit of a struggle here and there, but he's definitely showcased his arsenal, which is really great. So. And then also the closer, the new closer that we have, Kimbrel, he's been fantastic. He's actually closing in on 400 saves for his career, so I'm excited for him. So yeah, why don't we go to the schedule and I can just give you just a breakdown of how the season's been. And then we'll go through some key stats. So we'll bang out the stats right away, and then we'll go to some other storylines or kind of forecast like what I think is going to happen in the next coming months. So yeah, we started out with the Rangers. Really rough start, honestly. We could have had that victory the first game. We were leading like 5-0, and we wound up losing that. So rough start. I think the hitters have definitely. So Kevin Long, our hitting coach, he's definitely done a fantastic job as far as the hitting goes. Oh, and 1 second. Let me just make sure my mic is working. Yeah, I don't want to lose the mic here. Yeah, okay, it should be good. Yeah, okay. Hopefully everybody can kind of hear me good. I've got this like new mic here, so hopefully this works. But yeah, so our hitting has been like fantastic. I mean, you can't complain about the hitting. It's the pitching and the defense and kind of like the minute base running mistakes that we've made over the or at least the what I've observed from the last few weeks. But yeah, I mean, we started out really rough. We won 1 out of the first 5 games, which is pretty bad, or 1 out of the first 6 games. So we started 1-6, which is really bad. But we picked back up. We had good series against the Reds. Yes, we did lose quite a few actually. They were a pretty tough opponent, but the Marlins series started out fantastic. Then we just started to slack off a little bit. And obviously, the one key struggle that we've been having this season is the runners in scoring position. So that's been a huge detrimental impact to our RBI count in total, and also just winning games and scoring a lot of runs. So that's kind of been a huge downside to us this year. 1 second, I'm just gonna get my charger because my uh, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just got to get this charger hooked up. But yeah, some surprising storylines this year. Stott has taken a huge step in his career. I think his hitting has definitely paid off. You can tell how much he practices his swing and puts the effort in to really maximize his output for his swing. So he's been fantastic. Then we have new guy Trey Turner. He's been good, but he just like strikes out a lot. So definitely something to work on, the high strikeout count. That's something that our whole team needs to work on. You can see it across the board. Castellanos, Schwarber, Turner. Those three guys are kind of like our highest strikeout guys. So definitely have to figure out some of these pitchers and maybe put more emphasis into the scouting report before games on some of these pitchers. But yeah, I mean, we have an upcoming series against the Astros, which is pretty cool. We dropped, I think, so out of the Reds series, we played them twice. We played, I think 8 games in total. Wow, that's a lot of games. So the makeup was on April 7th. Okay. Okay, so we played like 7 games against them. We lost, I think 3 out of those 7. So still not a bad way to go out there. But yeah, so I wanted to get into some of these key stats here. Just showcase you guys like how our team is stacking up against the other teams. So let's just go purely hitting right now. So as far as batting average, I think we're top of the league, or one of the top teams in the league. Yeah, top 3 for batting average. Obviously, Tampa Bay Rays have had a tremendous start. The other teams that you can see here are also doing really good. It's just that we haven't been able to either close the gap on some of these like tight games where it's kind of going back and forth, and we need to rely on our pitching and defense to kind of close out the game essentially. So those have been kind of like the lagging stats for us. And then on base percentage, pretty decent, still top 10, which is not bad. This should like level out. This is only the first month, so it should pretty much level out once we're like 2 months or 3 months into the season. Slugging percentage, top 5, fantastic. And then on base plus slugging percentage, top 5, fantastic. So really solid from the hit column. The hitting part of it. We're doing really good. And then we also rank number 1 in hits in the entire MLB, which is really good. And it's a sizable gap between the second place team, the Cardinals. So we do not struggle getting hits. We do not struggle getting guys on base. We're just struggling to score these guys. And that's what I wanted to show you here is the RBI column. You see, we are almost like middle of the pack with RBIs. Definitely something to improve on, and the clutch hitting definitely has to come in. Home runs is another indicator. So we aren't the best at home runs. We are still middle of the pack there as well. So we were expecting some firepower in the lineup. I mean, Turner wasn't going to give you that much, but Schwarber, you were expecting a little bit more from him. Maybe Castellanos was going to have a bounce back season, which he is. He's actually got a decent amount of home runs, which is good to see. And then we really lacked that home run power from Hoskins. I mean, Hoskins had like 25, 30 home runs last year. It was really fantastic. It added a different element to our lineup, and just having him gone has been a huge downside for us. So yeah, I mean, we replaced that obviously with Cody Clemens and other guys such as Jake Cave, but they're not really giving that same impact that Hoskins did, you know. And that first base is going to be a huge storyline for us. Is Harper is planning to play first base, so we'll see how he does against, or he can't. He's going to start out as a DH just because he can't throw the ball that much yet because of his surgery, but Once he gets that action in, he'll start at first base, which is interesting. So this is what our lineup will look like: Harper at first, Stott at second, Turner at third. Third base will be Bohm or Sosa. They might kind of interchange. And actually, Bohmers might actually hit at the DH. So we'll have some games, obviously, but we'll have a good flexibility of who we're gonna play at DH. And then in the outfield, I think um our our lack of outfield athleticism could be through Kyle Schwarber. I don't want to hit him down on that or anything, but he is probably not the best as in terms of athleticism for the outfield. I think Pache has been a really good outfielder for us. So maybe interchanging him on some of these days and sliding Schwarber into the DH might be better. And then Marsh is obviously fantastic in the league. I think he's pretty much one of the top guys in the league as far as batting average. So he's had a great start. Let's just see this. So this is runs. So yeah, we're struggling there, and we're struggling with RBIs. So again, runs win games, and we don't have the same records as the guys that have the most runs, right? So that's one thing to work on, and obviously the pitching department also has to work on getting late into games and also just consistent pitching. I think once we get Suarez back, we'll definitely have a full bullpen, and also Painter from the minor leagues has been starting to throw a little bit more. So that could be a potential fifth starter right there. So yeah, our pitching lineup is still solid. I mean, Wheeler and Nola have had really rough starts to the season, so I expect bounce backs from both of them. So we have Nola, Wheeler. Now we have Taiwan Walker. We have Strom. We also have Bailey Falter. He hasn't been that bad either. Other depth guys such as Chris Sanchez, he's pretty good. So I mean, it's a matter of just starting to become more consistent and gel as a team. I think that's going to be what we're going to be looking for in our pitching. So I don't want to like be a Debbie Downer about the pitching stats, but we'll just go through this and I'll show you where our struggles are. So in terms of ERA, we are bottom of the pack at 21, 4.6. Not too good. As far as WHIP, we are, by the way, for those who don't know this terminology, so WHIP is walks and hits and innings pitched. So it's essentially per inning pitch, basically. So it's essentially how many walks and hits does a pitcher allow per inning. So lower the stat here is better. So we are 20th in the league at 1.33, not too good. And then opposing batting average against us, we are 17th in the league at 2.242. So yeah, you guys can clearly see where our pitching is kind of lagging a little bit in comparison to our hitting. Middle of the pack for hits allowed, or is this hits allowed or yeah, hits allowed by pitcher. So actually this the guys at the bottom are better. So the Rays have a fantastic bullpen and a fantastic starting rotation too. So it explains their start to the season essentially. But let's see here. This is runs. So obviously the A's are the trash of the league. No offense, but it's true. And then we are top 10 for runs. Wow. That is not too good. So yeah, hits we are top 15, and then runs we are top 10. Earned runs we are top 10. Home runs we are 20th, but still, I mean, think based on bats, we are top 10. Strikeouts, this is a better stat here. What are we at? Okay, that's pretty good. So strikeouts, we're number 6 at 238. So that's really good. So maybe we can really fix up just the amount of hittable strikes that we throw, or just a combination, just having variations in pitch type. So fastball, four seam, two seam, slider, even like a fork ball, you might pull something out of the hat here and there. So definitely we got to implement more variations in our pitch type, which is good still. I mean, we have fantastic bullpen rotation guys, such as Soto has kind of picked up pace as of late. Um, Bilotti is had his struggles, but hopefully he can bounce back. Bilotti and Brogdon have been kind of our struggling guys in the bullpen. I know they were a key component to our bullpen last year, but hopefully they can turn around this season. Other guys, obviously our three ace bullpen guys, Alvarado, Dominguez, and Kimbrel. They're fantastic. They're pretty much interchangeable as far as closer goes. So really it's a matter of who's feeling good at what date and how many innings potentially they could go. Say if like Alvarado can go maybe 2 innings and give you a solid 7-8 and then close out with Dominguez, or it could just be other way around. So there's plenty of variations that you can do there. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But definitely once we get our full rotation back, we'll see some um uh uh improvements in our pitching department for sure. So yeah, and then why don't we go to player? So now we're gonna single out some of our better players as far as hitting and pitching goes. So as you can see, the guy in the league that has the most hits is Ronald Acuna Jr., tied actually with Stott. So both of them have the most hits in the league, which is fantastic. I don't think Marsh's or Bohm is actually 20th. Oh, Trey Turner is actually, oh wow, we got a lot actually. Wow. So we have Stott at 1, Casti at 6, we have Turner at 13, and we have Bohm at 20. So yeah, that is fantastic. And then as far as home run goes, we don't hit that many home runs, so we shouldn't see too many guys here. Yeah, no one. Runs batted in. Here we'll see Bohm is here. We'll see some other guys maybe later down the road. And this is actually our struggling department, RBIs. So not going to see too many. So Casti at 29 and some other guys. So yeah, that's that. And then based on balls, we have who cares about that? Strikeouts. So this is our struggling department here. Where are we at on strikeouts? We have Schwarber with 29 strikeouts. We have Turner with 28 strikeouts. We have um other guys with pretty high strikeout. Marsh at 25, Real Muto at 25. But at least it's not like glaring how many strikeouts we're at. Like Olsen does get a lot of at bats, so it's understandable at 42 strikeouts, but still, 100 at bats and 42 strikeouts, that's still kind of high in my opinion. But Olsen, he's still a fantastic player, so he'll probably turn it around. Now, batting average. So we have Stott and Marsh in the top 10. Three guys in the top 10, Stott, Marsh, and Casti. So that's pretty great to see. Luis Arias is absolutely ridiculous. That's a really fantastic pickup for the Marlins, and honestly kind of scared of the Marlins being in our division. But yeah. Um, Anyone else that's notable in this department? Bomers is at 35. Um, uh, Turner's at 60. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. Now on base percentage. Marsh top 5. I mean top 10, which is good. Um, and I think Marsh should be number 1 or close to number 1 in the league with on base plus slugging, which is fantastic. Casti breaking the top 25 there, which is good to see. Yeah, that's great. And then slugging wise, Marsh top 2, on base percentage plus slugging, Marsh top 3. So really good. Max Muncy is just a monster. But yeah, so that's our top hitters in comparison to the other guys in the league. Um, Pitching wise, some of these are not really that accurate because guys have not like pitched that many games, but we can look at just the basic stats here. Obviously Sonny Gray is having a fantastic season. He's pitched 5 games with a .62 ERA, but it should kind of even out as the season goes along. No guys from our department in the top 25, which is pretty sad to see there. Um, Now let's go to hits. Hits allowed by pitcher. So we are not there, which is a good sign. So we don't want to be anywhere in the top categories for hits allowed, runs allowed, earned runs allowed. So and home runs and base on balls. So all of these stats right here, we want to be at the lowest, and strikeouts, we want to be at the highest. So Wheeler cracks the top 25 there. So that's a good sign. Nola shouldn't be too far along there. Yep. Or Schramm is actually with 32 strikeouts. That's good to see. Nola has struggled this season. Not gonna lie, he's had a rough start. But hopefully he hits his stride soon. But yeah. So that's that. And then whip. Again, that's walks and hits per inning pitched. Where we at on this? Nowhere in the top 25. Not a good sign. Nowhere in the top. Oh, Falter makes the top 30 there at 28. So Falter has been okay, but we've seen kind of late in innings he's slipped up a bit. So definitely something to correct there. Wheeler there, Nola there. So definitely got to improve pitching. That's the bottom line. I mean, we can't go a full season with this type of pitching and expect to make the playoffs. We're gonna have to have guys pretty much step up every single game, and for us to compete with the Braves, the Mets, and now even the Marlins in our division, and now seeing like even like unexpected teams on the rise, such as the Cubs and the Pirates, make a fan. I mean, the Cubs picked up some really good players. Same with the Pirates, but no one expected like this kind of start to the season for both of those teams. So definitely some tough competition in our league, but yeah, I mean we need to prove that we are the defending National League champions. So in order to do that, we need solid pitching day in and day out. So yeah. And I'm just trying to see here where we're at in terms of ERA, or this is batting average actually. So batting average against. So we didn't crack the top 25. We didn't crack the top 50 for that. And now we see Nola and Falter and Wheeler all in the bottom after 50, basically. Not good. So yeah, I mean, struggles in pitching, man. Like this is literally gonna make or break your season. So I'm really excited and glad that our hitting has been this tremendous and this powerful. And props to Kevin Long for rallying up those guys to just do fantastic scouting before games. But our pitching is really lacking here. So hopefully we pick back up in that department. So we got the Astros next. Tough matchup, honestly. Dodgers. So this is a tough road stretch. We have 6 kind of prove it games here coming up. I think we'll probably lose, not to be a Debbie Downer, but 2 out of the 3, at least one of the series, just given the travel there. But then we have the Sox and the Blue Jays at home for a 5-game stretch. We go on the road to Colorado and the Bay Area against the Giants. So yeah, I mean, we got to lock in here. We definitely have potential. We have Harper coming back. Hopefully next month, middle of next, or they're saying like the timelines before the All-Star break, but I think he'll definitely be back before that. So he'll probably start in the DH, just hitting balls. Maybe even, I don't even think he's going to be able to slide. So we might even like let him get on base and then get a pinch runner just to be extra precautionary there. So yeah, excited for Harper to get back. So our lineup should look like this is what I'm predicting. If I was the manager, no offense to Tompers, but all right. So we're going with Stott at 1, Turner, um, Schwarber, Harper, Casty, Bohm, Marsh, and then who's the other guy? Who would we have to play? Am I missing someone? No. Wait, let me do it again. Let me go through this again. All right. So um we have Stott, we have Turner, we have Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos, Bohm, uh Marsh. Um how can I do this? I am completely missing somebody from our team. This is awful. Oh my God, I am an idiot. I feel like a clown. Real Muto. Holy crap. That, that is awful. All right. If anyone has Real Muto in their fantasy lineups, I apologize. But yeah, so Real Muto has to be in the top, I would say 6. So let's go through this again. Just one more time. No mistakes this time. So we're going with Stott, Turner, Schwarber, um uh Harper, then I'd say Real Muto, then Castellanos, then Bohm. Actually, I would put Bohm before Castellanos. So we'll put Bohm in the 6th hole, then Castellanos, then Marsh, and then our DH guy could be Schwarber, could not be, but I think we'll probably go with Sosa for our DH for most of our games. Or maybe even Cave. Cave might be DHing some games. And also once Hall comes back, he might be a fantastic DH spot. So yeah, I'm excited for Hall. I actually should have mentioned that. So Hall did have a I think a thumb injury. And he's been out for the past few weeks, and I don't think he's going to be back for another 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the most. So Hall coming back, he'll definitely be a solid DH play for sure. So yeah, and then Harrison as well. We have Harrison, so definitely some flexibility with the DH there. Yeah, so that's that. And then some other guys that I didn't mention. So Nick Nelson will be back soon. He's on injured list for 15 days. Noah Song is actually an interesting story. So I think we picked him up from the Navy team, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, and then some other guys, some depth guys that we have. Junior Marte has been kind of a iffy play for us. We played him, I think, a few times, but yeah, I mean, I think that's depth for sure. And then yeah, Brogdon and Bellotti have been um a little bit disappointing to start the season, but I think they'll definitely pick up. And actually, Bilotti, oh, he's gotten injured, so we're thin in our bullpen right now. But I still think the combination of Alvarado, Kimbrel, and Dominguez, maybe mixing in Soto as well, can definitely go like the rest of the innings, you know. So yeah, and then even on some off days, maybe Schramm takes like a day or a week off of pitching, you know, and then he's just doing bullpen work. So we could definitely bring in Strom some games that some guys might have injuries and we're kind of thin at the bullpen depth. So Strom could definitely be a bullpen play. But yeah, I think that's been pretty good. Some trade targets that I would think the Phillies might consider, just given the impact of the Rhys Hoskins injury and how that just impacts our lineup as a whole. We'll bring in some interesting defensive guys. CJ Crone is definitely one fantastic target to consider. Other guys that I'm thinking of. Um, uh, I forget the guy from Oakland, Ramon Lagares or something like that. He's pretty good. Um, but yeah, I would definitely fill up the first base spot for sure because once Harper's back, we don't want to put too much strain on his arm and throwing and such. So if we get a solid first baseman, and I know Hall will be back soon, so that'll definitely be a plus. But just getting more batting power is never a bad thing. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. And yeah, I mean, we should have a pretty long, I mean, it's still the first month in, so we're gonna have a pretty long season to look forward to. So I'm excited for some good baseball. And if you guys have any suggestions for videos, definitely leave them in the comments, or not leave them in the comments. You can just text me directly or email me at savanisports@gmail.com. Just give suggestions if you want to be on the podcast, maybe give some good insight. That would definitely be great. Yeah, so feel free to share this podcast with people that you may know who are interested in sports and just maybe want to talk for just a brief moment about sports. Definitely willing to get more guests on this podcast. But yeah, so thanks again for tuning in and stay tuned for the next episode. And that will be the Sixers. So Sixers are in the second round. Got the Celtics, or most likely the Celtics. Actually, the closeout game for the Celtics is actually today. So we'll definitely be covering that and previewing that matchup. And a big upset. In our conference, which is the Milwaukee Bucks, the Heat knocking them out. So we'll be covering pretty much the entire playoffs, and I'll probably make like a two-part series to that too, just because there's a lot of matchups and storylines to kind of go through. So that'll be interesting for sure. But this was my baseball update for the Phillies, how we're doing in the season. And for those who are curious or looking at this video, which should be on YouTube, by the way, check out Savani Sports and Entertainment on YouTube. Sorry for too many plugs there, but anyways, so standings wise, we are currently fourth on our division at 13-13, but tied with Miami. So definitely anyone's division, honestly, and not too far in the wild card as well. And then the Central League, Pittsburgh having a fantastic start to the season. Milwaukee not too far behind. Chicago also having a pretty decent start. And then on the American League side, the Rays, obviously you guys know the Rays, just absolutely ridiculous what they've been able to do. The Orioles, very surprising, and actually I actually thought this would kind of happen. So they had a lot of good young core depth just from all their draft picks and just also signing like quality veteran guys such as Gibson and They've had a pretty solid roster this year, and it's not surprising to see them kind of make that next step. And expecting definitely some big things from the Orioles. Um, the Blue Jays here, fantastic. So that's actually going to be a tough matchup for us, which is coming up soon. So definitely something to prepare for. Minnesota, Cleveland, the outliers there on the AL Central side. On the west side, we have Texas and Houston. Houston kind of picking uh, uh, pace as far as their slow start. And then the A's, America's best team in baseball, the Oakland A's. Just like it's not even going to be Oakland A's anymore, so it's going to be the Las Vegas A's. So I really feel for the city of Oakland. It's tough when all of the sports teams pretty much move out and just go elsewhere. You know, it sucks, especially as a fan. Like that's one of the worst feelings. I'm lucky to have four core sports teams which are grounded and rooted in the city of Philadelphia and will literally never move away from the city of Philadelphia for a very long time. But yeah, I kind of feel for those fans that either are living in that area and they grew up watching and rooting for their team, and then all of a sudden just having their team just ship out to some other state, you know. Yeah, that's a tough feeling to overcome, but it happens, and you gotta just go with it, you know, like yeah, I mean, yeah, that's that. And so that's the standings update. As you can see, we're not too far back in the wild card, but yeah, we'll pick back up. I don't lose faith in the Phillies, especially after last year, the slow start to the season, and then the managerial shift, and then all of a sudden, bang, we're like one of the best teams in baseball after that start. So yeah, have big aspirations for the Phillies this year. Definitely going to be a playoff team and a big competitor to a lot of the other teams throughout our league. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more, and yeah, have a nice day.